Hey everybody, this is Oliver Joyce, and spring is in the air, the birds are chirping. It's a lovely Friday afternoon, and as you can kind of guess from the thumbnail there, I've been working on talents this week in Swords and Sandals Immortals, which has been it's been a challenging week, I gotta tell you, as far as introducing bugs and complexity into the game code. This is where it all starts to begin, because when you're building your combat, you've got your basic attack and defense and blocking and everything like that. But as soon as you start bringing in the modifiers to that, you start bringing in edge cases and, exceptions to the rule, that kind of thing. And you might know from a previous video on talents in this game, there are over 60 talents so far and counting, as well as all the skills which are more active. And there's a lot going on. I thought I'd get them done this week. No chance. I've gotten maybe half of them done in my spreadsheet, but this will carry on right into next week. Unfortunately, I don't have that much of interest to show you visually. We'll go to the talent tree in a second and kind of show you what it's looking like, but there hasn't been that much work done on combat itself. I'll give you a quick sneak peek on some two-handed weapon attacks as well, so just for fun. But let's jump in. Hang on, I need a coffee, even though it's getting around sort of coffee time, so 2:30 in the afternoon. When you need that little hit and your tongue gets a bit tired. Great time to make a video though, right? I make videos when the family goes out because that's the only sort of uninterruptible time I have. What were we doing? We're about to check out the talent tree. Let's go. Alright, so as you're about to see here, we're at the character panel, and this is always a work in progress. As I add more and more complexity to the game, this panel reflects that and shows you all the different, sections. Like you've got your inventory here, you can look through here, check out all your items that you've got. Those potion icons are going to be replaced with proper drawing soon as well. They're coming. I've been working on this panel as well, the stats panel, which you might have seen last week. Check out the latest iteration of that with all our stats here. I still haven't got sort of descriptions for things yet. What strength and agility and intellect, how they affect the game. That'll be coming. Equipped weapons. We've got a two-handed weapon at the moment, as you can see here. He's holding a two-handed long axe. And you've got your equipped armor and its weight. And of course your stats here. There's a few actual interesting changes to the game, which I'll tell you about while we're on the screen before we get to talents as well. So if we look at our battle stats, we've got things like, health regained per turn. I'm going to hide myself so you can see more of this. Bye for now. Hello? There we go. All right. As you can see here, you've got health regained per turn, essence regained, movement, push power, your hit chance stats. Now, this is interesting, and I have been thinking about synergies in the game. And what that means is stats that complement each other. So, you want there to be no useless stats, essentially. So you have your base hit chance here and your base critical hit chance. They're fairly self-explanatory. That's your chance to hit with a melee attack. And that will go up and down based on the kind of attack and your enemy's defenses and everything. But by and large, every gladiator, it starts with 50%. As your attack goes up, that'll go up by 2% or whatever it is per attack point. I'll work on that. But you've got a parry chance, which is your chance of defending against melee weapons. Your dodge chance, which is your defense against agility-based weapons, basically ranged weapons. So your chance of dodging arrows and bullets and that kind of thing. Your resist chance, and so your agility is your dodge stat, parry chance is your defense stat, hit chance is your attack stat, resist. This is your chance of resisting magic. And I may change that to magic resist chance just to make it a little clearer, but that is impacted by your intellect. And your ignore chance is your charisma. So the more charisma you have, the better chance you have of... Your resist chance is your charisma, and your ignore chance is your intellect. And the way I've rationed that is saying the smarter you are, the more likely you are to resist taunts, because you know that this guy's just trying to bait me into sort of combat. And I'm sort of just using some kind of creative license here just by saying, the more charismatic you are, the more magic resistant you are, you have some kind of luck about you, that kind of thing. And of course, shield block chance. if we go to our inventory here and we unequip that, but we equip a buckler. Oh, you're not supposed to be have that with a two-handed weapon. Unequip. Okay, there we go. There's a bug. Always a bug when we do these videos. Let's go back to our stats. And it busted. Funny enough, that is the same bug that happened in the last video, which I still haven't solved. I think it's a pretty easy one to solve. I've just got to make a note of it. But yeah, look, if we now check out our shield block chance, 26%, because we have, in this character anyway, we have a buckler. I'm going to work on, see, that tells you, that little number there tells you its shield block percentage. That's a new thing as well. Yeah, so lots of stats here. You got protection from fire, physical protection, frost. This was formerly known as resistance, but because we have resist up here, it's now called protection. This basically is your damage reduction. And I might even change that again to say damage reduction to make it clearer. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I was wondering what a name for that should be. Miscellaneous things like shop discount. I've actually given us a talent of mercantile, which you'll see in the next thing. We'll get to that in a sec. And of course, your character's appearance. And, you know, his species, bit of flavor text there. All right. But what I wanted to show you, of course, was the talents. Jump over here. We're at the arcane talents. These are currently all the talents you can have in the arcane tree. Now, these, I want to tell you right now, are subject to change. The names will change. The icons may change. And what they do may change as well. Because as I kind of add more content and, you know, features into the game, there are, you know, talents that I want to change, and right now these are the passive talents. So look at this one, Sorcerous Blood, not yet learned. Next level, it increases your essence regeneration by 6%. Frost Mastery, damage done by your frost attacks is increased by 10%. Something like poison. Let's go to Arcane Tendrils. Increase your hit chance by magic using by 4%. So they are basically just playing around with stats. There's a few interesting things like this one. Every time you hit in battle, 6% of the damage, we convert it to essence. We'll go to another tree, Warfare here. Things like Rage of Ages. Each hit you take increases your spirit by 2. Falcon Eyes, critical chance. That kind of thing. So I'm working on that. Adventure right now. As you can see, we have Mercantile. So I've got 5 points in that because I put it in the debug thing. And now this isn't reflected there because we're actually maxed out. That should say maxed out rather than 2% discount, because that will be actually, we already have a 10% discount. And when you go to a shop, you'll see that you have 10% cheaper items. There's a bunch of other skills here which I'm not sure will make it in the final game. Things like being able to portal around the overworld map, better chance of finding gems or mining for things. They are sort of subject to change as the overworld content of the game changes. Survival, of course, is your defensive tree, things like defensive techniques, parrying ability, protection against resistances, but that may now change to damage reduction, just to be clearer. It's funny, I only just thought out then. Things like conviction are interesting. Increases the alignment points you gain from sparing or slaying enemies by 12 per fight. That kind of stuff. Robotics tree is coming. Work in progress. Theatrics, of course, is your Sonic-based skills. Oh, I haven't set those yet. Yeah, so I'm about halfway through those things right now. A long way to go, but should be a bit of fun. What we'll do, though, is we'll jump into a battle just so I can show you how that works. Okay, so what we have here is a pretty straightforward battle. Both guys, though, are wearing the same armor, Hallenfall armor, and a two-handed long axe, which now has its own standing animation. It has its own walking animation, and it has its own attack animations as well. So, okay, you can't switch weapon or throw weapons when you have a two-handed weapon attached. That is one of the challenges of it, but they do a lot more damage, as you'll see soon. Parried. Let's check out one of his attacks. We killed him straight away. It does a bit too much damage. Yeah, great. There you go. Battle. So the weapons damage levels are way too high at the moment. I've got to that'll all come later. Fine tuning all that stuff later. I'm just kind of happy that it's actually in the game. All right. So what else? What else we have for you today? What we have is a shout out for my good friends from the Patreon. Patreon supporters, we salute you. If you'd like to be a Patreon, that would make my day. Oh, I was a bit late in my shoving away of Tharga and the Amra. But we have Jandaku Chanahi, Noah Gudajan, Nico, XUp Omega, Ilya Gudovic, Jeffro of Hex 3D, Davi, Akim Shabanov, welcome my friend, Pialo34, Michael Loda, Yunus Yalo, Hopeless, Chris Lopez, Daniel Funches, Big Mike, welcome friend, and Brandon K, also new to the Patreon. Thanks guys. With your generous support, I'm able to just put a few extra cool things in Sword and Sandals with that extra bit of money that's coming each month. And you know, it does make a difference in the long run, because I gotta tell you, sales of the other games, you know, they're slowly going down and down and down. So I kind of need this game to work. I really do. You know, if this ends, look, I'm not gonna say it'd be the end of Whiskeybarrel Studios, but it'll make things harder. So you guys are the best. I just want to say thanks for your generous support as Patreons. And if you want to be a patron, there is a link below, and it's much appreciated, my friends. I got to tell you, I'm really looking forward to having these talents in the game, because it has been it's been hard to concentrate on them, and you kind of know that when you're introducing complexity and bugs into the game, and they all kind of operate using the same logic. So hopefully when I test them, they all sort of, you know, work well. But it's the kind of thing that will be discovered in alpha and beta testing, that certain abilities aren't, you know, providing the correct bonuses that they should, and that kind of thing. And you know, that's why we have beta testing. But looking forward to getting the talents in, so I can work on the more fun things like skills, which are, you know, your proper taunts, your whirlwind attacks, you know, your fireballs, your lightning bolts, that kind of thing. Next week, I've also, if I get the talents done, I've got to work on the sonic weapons, because some of the talents to do with the sonic weapons, and you need them to work, you know, the guitars and stuff like that. So we'll start putting those fun things into the game as well. Long way to go yet, but let's check out the trailer again. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but for those who haven't, here it is. This trailer is now, you know, several months old, and the game has improved a lot since then. But it does show you the game, at a glance. And of course, you can wishlist it on Steam. Every wishlist really helps, and we're slowly growing wishlist numbers. So I want to thank you guys for the continuous support of the game, and of course, tell your friends, tell everybody. Immortals is coming, and multiplayer will be coming. That is a work in progress. Not by myself, but with a guy that I'm teaming up with called Christopher Brown, who is working really hard on that right now. And hopefully we've got some things to show you before the end of the year. RE multiplayer. What else? Like and subscribe, all that. If you want, I do one of these once a week. And it's usually just talking Sword and Sandals and Mortal stuff right now. Every now and again I go on a hike when I can. I'm hoping to do more hikes once the kids are back in daycare. And I'll just have a bit more time. At the moment, everything's just discordant and distracted. And, I love my kids, and they're the light of my life, but it can be challenging when you sort of get into the flow of programming, and then all of a sudden they burst into the room and daddy this, daddy that kind of thing. It's a wonderful distraction, but a distraction nonetheless. So once I can get that peace and quiet in a little bit better, then I'll have more time to work in the game. Right now I'm doing 4 days a week because I'm spending a day a week looking after them as well. Not that this is that interesting for you guys. If you just want a bit of a behind the scenes into my life. What else to talk about? Nintendo Direct. Nothing to do with Sword and Sandals, other than Spartacus is of course part of the Nintendo family now. Not a popular part, but what can you do? What do you think of Nintendo Direct? I got to tell you. Dramatic pause. Didn't like it. Pretty lackluster. Wasn't a fan. I feel like, and I said this on Twitter, every year it gets a little bit more lackluster. Nintendo releases a new console with a bunch of killer games. A new Mario, like Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, a new Mario Kart. And then, for the rest of that console's life, they just give you filler. I mean, apologies to those people who love the Splatoon franchise, but who cares? I don't want another Splatoon bit of content. I'm too old for things like Smash Brothers and that kind of stuff. Look, I get their target audience. It's probably not me anymore, and it's a great console for indie games. But come on, man, give me a new Mario Kart. I want a new Mario Kart. I want a new Odyssey. I know Breath of the Wild is coming, Breath of the Wild 2, but Anyway, what do you guys think? And also, what are they thinking? Bringing these Nintendo 64 games into the fold. Great, it'll be part of the Switch Online subscription service that you pay for. Sure. Not super expensive, but you got to pay extra for these N64 games? What's all that about? Huh? And I've also got to tell you, be a little bit, hesitant when you actually play them, because those first gen N64 games, man, that was when I was young. I was late teens when they came out. GoldenEye and Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. Ocarina. You decide. They do not hold up. Those textures are just awful, and the gameplay is particularly unforgiving and, kind of brutal. And I think those 2D games really hold up. The Super Mario World, Super Mario 3, some of the greatest games of all time come from Nintendo. But, so I'm basically saying, not a fan. I won't be partaking in the fun of that. That's probably just, me being grumpy and old. See, I'm not always sunshine and light. Sometimes I'm like, get off my lawn, you kids, with your Game Boys and Nintendos. Anyway, look, I'll tell you what, though, they are bringing a Castlevania Game Boy Advance pack out for Switch. And if you haven't played games like Aria of Sorrow and Dracula X and so on, those look cool too. So they are coming out, and I look forward to, hopefully they can bring out a DS pack, because my friend John Stayscale tells me that DS versions of some of those Castlevania games, all based on the kind of the Symphony of the Night template, are some of the best in the series. Do you like me talking about other games and stuff like that? Is this interesting to you guys? Because if it is, I'll try and include it every week, tell you about what I'm playing. Next week I'll talk about Ghost of Tsushima, which I've been playing on PS5. Let me know in the comments. Honestly, seriously, guys, let me know what you think, because, there is only so much to talk about in Swords and Sandals, and this is a long dev cycle. Not going to lie, it's a long process. So, I guess you guys can get tired of that as well. Until next week, my friends, have yourself a brilliant weekend. Be good to each other. Enjoy whatever you can from Nintendo Direct. I'm sure there's something fun there for everyone, almost everyone. Bye for now.